Hello, my dear friend. Please just sit here with me for a moment, loosen your shoulders, and let us take a gentle breath together. Perhaps you are sitting in your favorite armchair in the corner of the living room right now, or maybe your hands are resting on a warm ceramic mug that is slowly turning cold. I want to ask you something today, something truly honest that perhaps very few people take the time to ask you anymore. Did you wake up early again this morning, around 6 o'clock, or maybe even before the first rays of dawn could warm the porch outside your door? You stepped out of bed, felt the cool floor beneath your feet, and then you found yourself looking into the empty space before you. You looked up at the wall calendar, noting how the grid for today remains completely blank, with no notes written down, no appointments scheduled, no reminders of a trip, and no upcoming visits from anyone. The soft sound of the drip coffee maker echoes through the quiet kitchen, rhythmic and slow. The ticking of the wall clock seems unusually loud today, marking every passing second in an empty house. You pick up your telephone, but the screen is dark, showing no new messages, no missed calls from your children, and no greetings from old friends. There is only a profound silence wrapping itself around the rooms. This kind of stillness is not just an absence of sound. It feels like a heavy, invisible weight resting gently on your shoulders. In that very moment, a quiet but deeply painful question inevitably rises in your mind. What am I going to do with my day? How will the hours pass? Is there anyone out there who truly needs my presence in this world anymore? I know that feeling so well. I understand that exact moment when the emptiness touches your skin, making you feel as if you are standing completely on the sidelines of a society that is rushing by too fast outside your front door. The cars continue to honk on the busy highways, young people rush toward their grand plans, while you are left here to face a long, unstructured day with absolutely no schedule. This heavy monotony, this endless repetition of quiet retirement days, is a profound mental challenge that is incredibly difficult to admit to others. It triggers a tamblang fear of getting old, a deep anxiety of being forgotten, and a nagging worry that your most vibrant, active years are permanently behind you, leaving only a sequence of lonely, empty hours. But my dear friend, please listen to me closely right now. The silence you are experiencing is not a punishment. The empty square on your calendar today does not mean your life has lost its value. Let us sit together and acknowledge this energy, recognizing the presence of loneliness in old age and the heavy boredom in your heart. We do not need to run away from it, nor do we need to turn the television on full blast or mindlessly scroll through your phone just to fill the void. We are here to learn how to cradle this feeling, much like a loving mother gently holding a crying child. Breathe in, knowing you are taking a deep, restorative breath. Breathe out and smile softly at the very silence that surrounds you. Throughout our time together today, we will not discuss complex, distant theories. Instead, we will find a path toward inner peace right inside your own kitchen, right in your living room, turning this Thich Nhat routine into a beautiful sanctuary of comfort. You must know that as you listen to the sound of my voice, you are not carrying this weight alone. Out there, across this vast country, millions of other older adults are experiencing this exact same moment. Let us send our compassionate awareness to a small home in Ohio. There, a woman over 70 years old stands by her window, watching the autumn leaves slowly drift to the ground. She spent decades as a deeply busy mother, cooking large meals for a crowded table, rushing her children to school and worrying over their exams and clothes. But now her children are fully grown, having moved away to bustling cities like New York or Chicago to pursue their own careers. Her home, which once echoed with loud laughter and running footsteps, now only carries the sound of the whistling wind and her own quiet steps across the rug. Every single ring of the phone brings a sudden surge of hope, but most of the time it is just a mechanical robocall. This heavy sense of an empty nest presses tightly against her chest every time the sun begins to set. Or let us look at a quiet street in California, where a man spent his entire adult life working in high-level corporate management. He used to direct hundreds of employees, commanded the center of critical boardroom meetings, and made massive decisions that impacted thousands of lives. People respected him deeply, needing his guidance every hour of the day. But after his retirement, and especially after his beloved wife of 30 years passed away, he found himself completely lost in a house that was far too large and far too quiet. No one asks for his opinion anymore. There are no urgent emails waiting for his reply. The hollow echo of his own footsteps has become his only regular companion. He stands before the bathroom mirror, looking at the silver hair and the deep lines on his forehead, wondering who he actually is now that the titles, the prestige, and the constant busyness have completely vanished. This empty nest syndrome and the painful loneliness in old age are raw, quiet wounds that your generation carries silently within modern society. The world constantly congratulates seniors on reaching a peaceful retirement, promising a life of ultimate freedom and zero worries, but very few people truly understand the terrifying void that this freedom can leave behind in the human soul. You feel like a traveler left behind on an empty platform while the train of active life speed away into the distance. Your children have their own intense lives, consumed by the heavy pressures of modern survival, paying bills and raising their own kids, and they simply forget that you are sitting here waiting for a simple phone call or a brief visit. You begin to overthink, wondering if you are becoming a physical or financial burden to them. And that very thought pushes you deeper into isolation, making you too proud to share your true feelings. But see, all of these silent heartaches and difficult moments do not belong to you alone. The lonely woman in Ohio, the grieving man in California, and you, right where you are sitting, are all floating in the exact same river of human experience. When we realize this shared reality, a deep sense of compassion naturally arises within us. We understand that this is a completely natural stage of life, a profound transition that a generation of proud, hard-working individuals must face. This quiet space is a shared home where you and I can sit together and reflect. Please do not feel any shame for feeling lonely. Do not feel disappointed in yourself because today feels empty. These are deeply human emotions, completely real and worthy of respect. We are here to recognize them, to hold them with the utmost gentleness, and to understand them deeply as true companions. To truly transform this feeling of boredom, we must look at its root causes through the lens of psychological awareness and mindfulness. Why do we feel so much distress and anxiety when we face a day with nothing to do? The answer lies deeply in the way modern culture and Western society programmed our minds from the time we were children. We were systematically taught that human worth is directly tied to productivity. We were conditioned to believe that a valuable life is a busy life, measured by achievements, tasks completed, and constant movement. Our minds became completely addicted to operating in what we call the doing mind. This is a state of consciousness that constantly looks outward, searching for goals to conquer, problems to solve, schedules to build, or past events to analyze. It is an internal machine that simply does not know how to turn off. When you cross the age of 65, retirement and the natural slowing down of the physical body abruptly disconnect this internal machine from its familiar fuel. Your busy doing mind suddenly loses the objects it used to grasp onto. It is exactly like a vehicle traveling at high speed that is suddenly forced to brake completely. The engine continues to roar loudly, but the wheels can no longer move forward. This exact friction is what creates the agonizing feeling of monotony, emptiness, and internal restlessness. Because it no longer has massive corporate projects or family duties to resolve, the mind begins to turn inward, attacking your own peace. This is what Thich Nhat Hanh lessons describe as the chaotic movement of mental formations when they lack the soothing light of awareness. Out of pure old habit, your mind desperately looks for something to do, and it lands directly on past regrets and future anxieties. This is the precise moment when the exhausting cycle of overthinking and mindfulness for insomnia takes over your nights. Sitting alone in the quiet of the afternoon, your mind begins to flip through the old, dusty pages of your life history, chewing endlessly on ancient regrets. Why did I make that choice decades ago? Why did I choose that career path over another? Why did I speak those harsh words to my child during that argument 10 years ago? Or it leaps wildly into the future, creating terrifying, unseen anxieties. What if I lose my memory to dementia in a few years? Who will take care of me when my body fails? How will I face the final moments of my life? You see, the simple boredom of an empty afternoon quickly morphs into a devastating storm of internal worry, entirely because the mind has never been taught how to simply rest in the present moment. The true problem is not that your life lacks activities, it is that you have temporarily lost the capacity to switch into the beautiful mode of presency, which we call the being mind. You have forgotten that your ultimate nature is to be a human being, not a human doing. Your foundational value does not depend on how many things you fix, how much money you save, or how active you appear to the world. It exists entirely in your pure, peaceful, and fully aware presence in this exact moment. This feeling of boredom is actually a gentle alarm bell from your soul, a soft reminder that it is time to let go of the mind's constant running. It is an invitation to step away from the trap of productivity and return to the most profound lesson of life, the art of living fully, mindfully, and peacefully with exactly what is. How do we escape this trap of the busy mind and step back into a state of peaceful presence? The answer found within Thich Nhat Hanh teachings is incredibly simple, practical, and grounded. It does not require you to travel across the world to a distant monastery, nor does it ask you to sit cross-legged in intense pain for hours. The ultimate solution is waiting right inside your own home, hidden within the very ordinary daily activities that you once dismissed as tedious and meaningless. This is the practice of meditation for beginners and seniors alike, which means transforming every mundane chore into a sacred ceremony by offering it 100% of your attention. When you bring your full mind to what you are doing, the dark cloud of boredom immediately evaporates, leaving behind a profound, simple joy. Let us look at a concrete example that you perform every single day: washing a single porcelain teacup after your breakfast. Normally, you probably wash it as quickly as possible, your mind drifting off to what program is on television next, or you treat it as an annoying chore you need to finish so you can move on to something else. This is performing an action in forgetfulness. Now let us try changing your entire approach using daily mindfulness. As you stand before the kitchen sink, open the water faucet very slowly. Listen carefully to the sound of the running water, watching it flow over the drain. As you bring the teacup under the stream, feel the warm water moving gently over your hands. Hold the cup tenderly with both hands, noticing the smooth texture of the ceramic surface. As you use the sponge to clean it, know that you are washing this cup with the exact same tenderness you would use to bathe a newborn infant. There is no rush, no past errors to weigh you down, and no future worries. There is only you, the teacup, and the flow of warm water. You are completely present for the cup. This is the true miracle of mindful living. You wash the cup simply to wash the cup, not to get it over with. We can easily apply this exact same spirit to another ordinary task: wiping down the wooden dining table in your living room. When you pick up the damp cloth, bring your full awareness to the sensation of your hand holding the fabric. Place it gently on the wood and begin to move your arm in slow, deliberate, circular patterns. Wipe the surface with deep respect and profound gratitude. Feel thankful for this table, which has supported your meals, held your morning coffee, and carried your books for so many years. When you clean the table with this mindset, every single movement of your hand becomes a beautiful dance of inner peace. As you clear away the physical dust from the wood, the light of Chang Neem is simultaneously clearing away the dust of anxiety from your soul. Repeat a gentle phrase quietly to yourself. Breathing in, I wipe this beautiful table. Breathing out, I smile at this deep peace. When you dedicate your entire mind to these small acts, whether it is watering a delicate fern on your balcony, sweeping up dry leaves from the walkway, or neatly organizing the books on your shelf, you are lighting the lamp of awareness within your home. In those moments, the empty hours of retirement stop being a scary trap. You are no longer a lonely older adult waiting for time to pass by. You are a true guardian of life, actively protecting and beautiful your surroundings with pure love. True inner happiness never comes from grand distant events. It is nourished and sustained by these small, ordinary moments of complete presence. To give you an unwavering faith in this gentle path of healing the soul, let me share a true story about a man named Arthur. Arthur was a retired structural engineer who lived alone in a modest brick home in the suburbs of Boston. His entire adult life had been dictated by incredibly complex blueprints, the loud chaos of active construction sites, and intense, rigid schedules that ran from 5 in the morning until late at night. When he finally reached the age of 67, Arthur officially retired. In the beginning, he genuinely believed he was entering a personal paradise where he could sleep late every day and spend his afternoons watching baseball games on the television. However, within less than 6 months, that supposed paradise quickly deteriorated into a painful hell of deep monotony and severe depression. Arthur fell into a profound existential crisis, a state of mind that many seniors face when they suddenly feel they have lost their purpose. Every morning, he woke up to a completely silent house, with no plans on his schedule and no visitors expected. His wife had passed away a few years prior, and his children lived across the country, rarely calling because they were overwhelmed by their own career pressures. Arthur developed a destructive habit of sitting frozen on his old living room sofa, mindlessly flipping through cable channels from morning until dark. He began to feel like an obsolete piece of furniture himself, completely useless and discarded by a younger world. The heavy boredom of his days quickly turned into chronic insomnia at night. His mind became a battleground of overthinking, replaying every mistake he made in his past relationships and drowning in the fear of loneliness in old age. His physical health began to fail rapidly, his joints ached constantly, and his spirit was perpetually heavy. One afternoon, while aimlessly moving boxes in his dusty basement, Arthur stumbled upon an old, pocket-sized book written by Thich Nhat Hanh. It had been given to him as a gift by a colleague years ago, but he had never bothered to open it. He sat down right there on the cool concrete floor and began to read the simple pages. The master's warm, compassionate words about finding absolute peace in a single breath and practicing mindfulness during ordinary daily tasks struck a deep chord in the old engineer's hurting heart. Arthur decided right then that he would try to alter his life through one tiny action, washing his dishes by hand with complete awareness. The very next morning, instead of throwing his dirty plate into the automated dishwasher with frustration, Arthur stood firmly at the sink, took a slow, deep breath, and focused his entire mind on the task. He felt the soothing warmth of the soapy water on his rough, weathered hands. He looked closely at the soap bubbles, noticing how they sparkled like tiny jewels under the morning sunlight streaming through the kitchen window. In that quiet moment, something beautiful shifted inside him. Arthur realized that within those fragile bubbles lay an entire spectrum of colors, and within the flowing water was the direct continuation of cloud formations, mountain rivers, and the open sky. He was no longer an obsolete, lonely man cut off from the world. He was deeply, profoundly connected to the tapestry of life. From that day forward, Arthur transformed his entire suburban home into a peaceful sanctuary. He watered his small garden in mindfulness, swept his floors in mindfulness, and prepared his simple meals with immense gratitude. His chronic insomnia and painful overthinking faded away naturally. Arthur discovered true inner happiness not in a massive engineering project, but right there in the quiet spaces of his own kitchen. Now that you have listened to Arthur's journey and understand how to practice mindfulness in action, let us take another step together down this path of elderly mental health. Let us shine the bright light of our awareness onto the two greatest unseen fears that tend to haunt older adults whenever their lives become still: the fear of declining physical health and the fear of being forgotten by the world. When your days are completely quiet and free from external distractions, your mind has a natural tendency to overanalyze every single bodily sensation. The moment you hear a sharp creak in your knee when standing up, notice a slightly rapid flutter in your chest at midnight, or feel a wave of unexplained fatigue in the afternoon, your doing mind immediately fabricates a terrifying script about a sudden medical emergency, a stroke, or a heart attack. This intense health anxiety is simply another form of overthinking, and it completely robs you of the peace you deserve. Thich Nhat Hanh lessons offer us an incredibly profound art for managing these moments, which is the practice of smiling at our changing bodies and aging with grace. The Master teaches us to gently recognize our physical reality without judgment. Breathing in, I know this body is experiencing the natural process of aging and physical decline. Breathing out, I smile at this aging body with love. The fundamental law of our universe is impermanence. This physical form is no different than a beautiful autumn leaf. After spending its spring and summer offering vital energy to the tree, it naturally turns golden, releases its grip, and drifts downward. Instead of resentful anger or terrifying resistance toward your aching joints, your silver hair, or your slower pace, learn to wrap these changes in pure mindfulness. Place your warm, comforting hand directly onto your aching knee, take a deep breath, and say to it, "I know you are tired. You have carried me across this earth for decades, and today I am here to breathe for you, to let you rest, and to smile with you." When you stop fighting the physical pain with psychological panic, the suffering immediately loses its power over you. The second hidden fear is equally painful: the deep sorrow of feeling forgotten by your family, the fear that you no longer hold a meaningful place in the hearts of your children and grandchildren. You feel a heavy sadness when a whole week passes without a telephone call, or you feel a sudden pang of isolation when you see photos of their weekend outings on social media, realizing you were not there. I ask you to look at this situation through the wide eyes of compassion and daily mindfulness. Your children are not malicious, nor do they desire to hurt you. They are simply caught up in the intense, fast-paced storm of modern American survival. They are drowning in corporate stress, mounting bills, and the chaotic demands of raising their own children. They are simply living in forgetfulness, swept away by the heavy current of life. Try to let go of rigid expectations and realize that the deepest connection between a parent and a child does not depend on formal scheduled phone calls. It exists in the realm of shared spiritual energy. When you sit quietly in your room, breathing in absolute peace, maintaining a steady, tranquil mind, and sending pure thoughts of loving kindness to your children and grandchildren, that peaceful energy travels across any physical distance to touch their hearts. You are actively nourishing your family from afar with your stability, your wisdom, and your quiet strength. An older adult who is grounded in peace, who knows how to cultivate inner happiness independently without resentment or constant demands, becomes the absolute strongest spiritual anchor for their entire family line. You become like a grand ancient oak tree that silently offers shade and protection to the entire forest, even when you are sitting completely alone in your room. As our shared journey deepens and our emotions settle into a quiet space, I want to invite you to look at the highest philosophical truth within Thich Nhat Hanh lessons, a realization that has the absolute power to liberate your heart from the fear of getting old and the sorrow of isolation. This is the profound truth of interbeing. The Master teaches us that nothing in this universe can exist by itself alone. We can only interbe with everything else. You, your children, the trees, the clouds, and the stars are all woven into one single, inseparable fabric of life. When you sit completely by yourself in a quiet room, looking around at the empty chairs, your isolated mind might whisper to you, "I am completely alone. I am totally disconnected from the world." But if you look deeper through the clear eyes of mindfulness, you will see that this isolation is an illusion. Look closely at your own hands right now. Within these hands live the blood, the bones, and the sacrifices of your parents. Within your heartbeat lives the smile of your ancestors, and within your thoughts lives the future of your children and grandchildren. You are not a separate fragment of life. You are the living continuation of an ancient, beautiful lineage. Your parents have not vanished from this earth. They are fully alive in every single cell of your body and in every breath you take. Your children are your direct continuation, walking out in the world right now. When you take care of your own peace, when you breathe a gentle breath, you are breathing for your entire family line. You can never be truly lonely because you contain the entire universe within your being. Look out your window at a single autumn leaf gently falling from its branch. That leaf does not die. It simply transforms, breaking down to become rich nutrients for the soil, waiting to manifest again next spring in the form of a fresh, green bud. The clouds floating across the sky never truly die either. They simply transform into rain, falling into the soil, flowing into the streams, and eventually finding their way into the very cup of hot tea you are enjoying today. We are completely identical to the leaf and the cloud. This physical shell may change, its strength may decline, but the immense love you have given, the quiet kindness you have shown, the deep wisdom you have gathered, and the seeds of mindfulness you have planted throughout your lifespan will continue to flow forever in the grand river of life. When you touch this profound truth of interbeing, you enter the ultimate state of living happily in the present moment. The silence inside your home stops being the scary emptiness of an abandoned soul. It transforms into a sacred solitude, a beautiful, spacious freedom that allows you to return to the island of self and find peace alone. You suddenly realize that you possess a magnificent treasure that the busy, stressed younger generation cannot buy. You have time. You have the ultimate freedom to live slowly, to watch a flower open its petals, to savor a single sip of warm water, and to breathe without the heavy chains of corporate deadlines or societal expectations. Old age is not the dark, tragic conclusion of your story. It is your golden harvest season. It is the sacred time when the fruit is fully ripe on the branch, radiating the beautiful fragrance of wisdom, unconditional love, and true inner peace. My dear friend, we have walked a long, beautiful path of awareness together today. We started our journey with the anxious steps of an empty morning, traveled through the shared solitude of seniors all across the nation, explored the intricate traps of the doing mind, and finally stepped into the brilliant light of Thich Nhat Hanh teachings. Now let us return gently and completely to the physical reality of this room. Let us listen together to the soft, fading vibration of the Zen bell, allowing this peaceful energy to settle deep into every single cell of your body. Take a deep, full breath in, feeling your chest expand as you welcome the love, the warmth, and the vital life of the universe into your heart. Breathe out very slowly, releasing every ounce of heaviness, every bit of overthinking, and all the lingering regrets of the past into the air. Say quietly to your own soul, breathing in, I recognize that today is a precious gift. Breathing out, I cherish this moment completely. Your retirement life is not empty. It is a clean canvas waiting for your awareness to transform every single ordinary second into a profound miracle. When our conversation closes today, what will you choose to do? Will you stand up slowly, walk into your kitchen, and wash your teacup with your entire presence? Or will you step out onto your porch, gently water a plant, and look at the water droplets on the leaves with the fresh, wide eyes of a young child? Whatever task you choose to do next, please do it with absolute slowness, deep respect, and an abundance of love for yourself. You are fundamentally worthy of happiness, and you deserve to experience inner peace right here and right now. If you felt the gentle warmth and the healing energy of our time together today, If you felt truly seen and understood within the silence of your home, please consider leaving a soft note in the comment section below. You do not need to write anything complex. Simply share one tiny, ordinary thing that you promise to do mindfully today, such as, "I will drink my water slowly today," or "I will smile at my knee pain." Your brief words are like warm hands reaching out across the miles, connecting millions of older adults across this globe into one magnificent, mindful family. Thank you deeply for your sacred, beautiful presence in this world. If this message brought comfort to your heart, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this reflection with another soul who might be sitting in a quiet room today, looking for a true friend. May your day and your night be filled with absolute stillness, complete freedom, and simple, beautiful joy.